Hey, and welcome back to another video here in the TNL Tips video series. As you know, this series focuses on brief tips that can help you out in one of your classes, presumably if you're teaching here within the Canvas LMS Learning Management System. So today let's talk about how you might copy a shell from a previous class or even a shell that myself or Trevor or someone else has created for you. This allows you to very easily import content from your old class into the new class without a lot of hassle and trouble. So let's jump onto Canvas right now and take a look at this. Okay, so let's discuss how we go about importing content into our classes, and we're primarily going to be working today. When you log onto your class, click on one of your classes, we'll work with this right-hand menu, either existing content or Canvas Commons. One thing I want to mention though is you may come into a situation where you have your new class shell and you import a class into that, but you've imported the wrong class. If you do that, unfortunately, you are in the situation of having to delete a lot of content. Like in this case, I would have to go through and delete all these modules. I have discussion boards set up. I would have to delete those. Actually, in this case, I don't have those. I just have my module structure. So one thing I recommend you do is reach out to me. I have this power in my account. It's not enabled in yours, and if you think there's a good reason maybe to have this available for everybody, we could certainly make that request through the instruction office. The concern is that if you use this, you can't get the content back. So that's why they generally say they don't give this feature out that universally across all the faculty. But this is a reset course content, so I'm going to do it right now. And it's deleting everything in the class, including, as you saw, my image. It literally wipes it blank. So if that happens to you, if you're in a situation where you have imported something but it's the wrong content and you don't want to re-import a second class, because as we'll see, the problem with that is it will start to pile up all the content together in a big mix-up, if you will. And so that's why we have that reset function. So if that happens to you, reach out to me. I can give me your section number, your class number, and your section number, and I can do the reset after we've confirmed that that's the correct class to reset. So I've done that. We are at a blank slate here, so let's look at how we can import. And let me show you maybe the least common first. So that's going to be right here, import from Commons. As we talked about, Canvas Commons is the repository for open information, entire classes, like this course, quizzes, modules, pages, and so forth. So in this case, I'll just import a module. Very easy to do. I would click on the description in blue. I'm going to hit import or download. I think very typically you would just import this into your class as opposed to downloading it. It'll then ask me for the choice of classes. So I think this is the correct one. We'll find out here, test class. Again, import into class or download. Once you click this, there isn't a warning, it imports it. So we can do that. And as it's saying here, this may take some time to see the changes in your class. Let's go back and look at it and see if it worked. Again, this was a module, so we'll just see. Okay, and it's saying indeed they're being imported, but it's telling me that there's an import status. And you're going to see this actually when you do the class import, which is the more common, or when you're importing elements like, let's say, just your modules from one class or shell into a new one. So it's running. Once it's done and completed, that content will appear there. So it's pretty easy to do. That did not take a lot of work going to Canvas Commons. Again, all you need to do is go to import from Commons, choose what you want to import, the type of content. Once you're done with that, do that import, go back to your class, and it should be available for you. And that's pretty easy to do. So it's a great way sometimes to find some content, like you want a quiz or you want just a few modules or some sort of activity. You find a good version of that as an open source opportunity in Canvas Commons, you import it in your class, and you're ready to go. But let's look at the more common import that I think you'll be working with here. And again, any problems that you have, reach out to me. I know we're in the process of hiring a new DE coordinator. I've been filling in here as we're working through the fire and the late start here in fall 2021. So of course, other people in the future might help you with this, but in the interim, I'm certainly happy to do that for you. So if you get confused about this importing existing content, please reach out. But let me walk you through this. It's pretty easy as far as Canvas activities go. Now you're seeing here that we're still getting that other import that's running. This generally does it in a few minutes. And this is that Canvas Commons cartridge, as they call it. So all that information from that class is being imported. So we'll just have to wait a little bit here, and I'll edit this out in a second if this is still going. But we can talk about the import content at the top. So this is not going to be from Canvas Commons. This is going to be from a series of sources. And to be quite honest with you, starting here to the bottom, you're probably not even going to work with. I know some of you have taught in Moodle before, or some of you have taught in Angel or Blackboard. If that's the case, you can actually bring that into your class. I haven't tried that myself. There could be some issues with formatting, but it might be good to know. If you have a concern about that, just reach out to me and we can kind of cover that. So you're very typically going to just click on the second one down, copy a Canvas course. And by the way, this completed, so let's look at our modules just to see what the Canvas Commons import looks like. Okay, and that's it. It's just the hand washing education, and you can see this is the content. Every little bit is in there for you, the lesson plan, if it's graphics, and I can edit, of course, any of that content as I see fit. If it's a graphic, obviously, in some cases you can't edit the image because it's a graphic file. But it's pretty good. So you can use Canvas Commons again to import anything that you like into your class. To go back to the existing content, this is going to be an entire class. And I'm not too concerned right now that I have that module on hand washing. We'll just pile on top of that, and that'll actually kind of show you what I'm getting at. If you try to import multiple items into a class, they start to mix up. It can get a little confusing, and thus that opportunity to reach out to me and ask for me to reset your class for you and wipe it clean. So I'm just going to click on Copy a Canvas Course. Now, if I don't include completed courses, then obviously I'm going to get very limited sets. So let's say I want something for my Anthropology 107 class. And let's pretend this is a new Anthropology 107. And look what happens here. Everything that comes up with that keyword, number, whatever I'm searching for, it could be part of the title. And just to show you that, if I type magic in, it will come up with all my magic and witchcraft classes, assuming that I have that in the title. So in this case, I indeed have magic in, I think, all the titles. So let's just take Winter 2020. What you can do is, if you're curious, well, what did I have in that class? How many weeks was it? It's always going to tell you if it's fall, summer, winter, spring, or summer. If it's summer, I would know, well, wait, that's a 6-week or 7-week class. I don't want that one. I'm going to use my Winter 2020. You might also have a specific shell you've created for this very purpose. If that's the case, it might be coming from a shell that you have available, say, for your whole department to import in if they're teaching Business 101 or a specific class and number. So now I have that class queued again. That was my one Magic and Witchcraft class. And by the way, at this point, I think it's not telling me the section or the date of it. So if I forgot that, I'm like, well, maybe this is wrong. I would want to just repopulate this select course option, make sure I get the right one. Now I have some options here. And I typically will always adjust the dates and due dates. It makes it easier. You sometimes have to fine-tune it. If it's a current term class, it typically will default to our exact beginning and ending terms. But you can customize this, the beginning date and the ending date. And then once you do that, I haven't tried this substitution, but you can substitute Monday to Tuesday or something like that. I always have my stuff due, say, on Saturday, so this is not going to apply to me. But I could do that. I could do substitutions. I could change the dates. I could even remove all the dates. And if I did that, what I would end up doing is going in and manually working on assignment dates. And be sure to watch my video that talks about shifting dates in your class. I think that'll be very helpful as a time saver. I'll just leave it on shift dates. Again, I'm just doing this as a practice. I have that clicked as the default there, adjust dates and adjust events and due dates. And now I have a choice here that is fairly significant. If I want the whole class, the entire class, and I've done those dates, if I want to do the date adjustments, I select all content. That means everything from Anthropology 107, with the exception, of course, like your roster, and it won't copy. If you have set up discussion prompts that are replies on your discussion boards, those will not get imported in, unfortunately. But everything from your syllabus to your module structures to everything with the discussion boards set up, the points, everything. Once you do that, again, it's great to go back and adjust the dates. Now, if I don't want to do that and I don't want the entire class, I will click on Select Specific Content. And then at this point, it's a little confusing here. You might think I click Import and it does it. It actually does not. So the minute you click All Content and Import, it will do that. We'll look at that in a second. But if I do Select Specific Content, watch what happens. And so at this point then, I will click on the blue button and select the content. So what this means is, among any of the elements listed here, files, rubrics, calendar, announcement, pages, and so forth, I can select all of these, I can select the course settings, I can select some of them. And if you click the arrow, the nice thing here is you can get down into the granular level and choose only specific modules. So if I only want modules 1 through 4, I would click that. And again, I can collapse the arrow. So all of these are open, collapsible, and uncollapsible. I can select specific files. I can select only one of my quizzes or exams if I have 2 exams. Once I do that, I'll hit Select Content. And then it starts the queuing of the job. And so that will take a few minutes to do. And I didn't pull in a lot here, so it's actually fairly quick as far as the content. And then this is actually, I'm glad this came up. If there are any issues that happen with your import, whether you do the entire class import or these selected items, the issues will be flagged for you. And then it might say it can't adjust the dates. And there could be a variety of errors. So what I recommend is you click on this. If there's anything global that you need to fix, then you can make a note of that, go in there and make that adjustment. But overall, I haven't had a lot of issues. I think sometimes when the issues are identified, it's not something that really concerns me because in this case, I can go back and adjust the dates on the assignments. I'm going to have to do that anyway. Even if you pick that option of doing the adjust dates when you select all content, and let's go back and get our whole class here. I'm going to type in Anthro 107. And let's see, we were picking, just pick winter 2019. So again, even if I select this, I really recommend that you go back in and check all of your dates to make sure they're correct and watch my video on adjusting dates. So let's now do all content and hit import. And at this point, it is already queued and ready to go. There's nothing to select because I'm saying give me the entire class, and it'll run here and take a few minutes. Okay, and it's completed. And the nice thing about having the jobs list is it's a bit of a reminder for you to tell you what exactly has been copied into your class. Now, I want to show you something because I talked about this kind of mishmash that happens when you do multiple imports. We're going to see this because recall we already imported our hand sanitizing module, and so that is going to actually be in there. And then we imported the entire class. So now we'll go into our modules, and what you're going to notice is all of that content is together. Clicking on modules. So you see what it did. This was the first thing we imported, so it put it at the top. And then everything else, which is from the entire class, weeks 1 through 11, is through the rest of the class. So again, what happens here is you have to delete, in this case I could delete this entire module. That's pretty easy to do. If you've accidentally imported an entire class, though, to delete all your modules and everything else, assignments and discussions, it's kind of a pain. And that's that point where you reach out to me and say, Scott, could you please reset my class? I want to do a new import. The last one was incorrect. Very easy for me to do that. So that's mainly it today. Again, you're really going to use these 2 buttons here in your right-hand menu. Import from Commons if you want Canvas Commons, more typically to import a shell or a previous class that you've taught into your new class for the quarter. You'll use this, you'll look up the course, you'll either choose all the content, you'll adjust the dates or not, you'll choose specific content, hit import, the job will be run, any issues that have come up will be noted here. Fairly easy to use, but if you get stuck, let me know and I'll be happy to help you out with any aspects of Canvas class import. Okay, that's it today here in the TNL Tips video series. We focused today on easy ways to import previous class shells into your new class, hopefully saving you a little bit of time and hassle all the while. I'll be back with additional videos in this series.